So the news is really a rumor because it hasn't been confirmed yet that Canelo Alvarez has split from PBC. And so he had 2 fights left on his PBC contract. The only way, to my understanding, that he could get out of the PBC contract is if they were not able to fulfill their end of the bargain, meaning they couldn't deliver him the kind of money that is guaranteed in his contract, etc. Because if Canelo's attempting to break away and it violates the terms of his contract, then he's going to have a heck of a lawsuit on his hands. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation as to who Canelo could fight if he returns to the zone. The 2 obvious names are Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga. Both, I want to call them green fighters, but Jaime Munguia really isn't green, is he? He must be like 40-something and 0. And most of the opposition hasn't been of a crazy high level, but it's been higher than Berlanga's level for sure. He fought Sergey Derevyanchenko a couple fights back. And obviously he just came off a stoppage victory over John Ryder, who went the distance with Canelo in his fight before that. So Munguia's definitely been fighting a better level of opposition. The problem with trying to get a Canelo-Munguia fight done is the beef between Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez. They haven't seen eye to eye for many years. Even before Canelo left Golden Boy, they weren't seeing eye to eye. And the circumstances that caused them to split and part company ultimately saw Canelo accuse De La Hoya of going behind his back, making deals with DAZN that he wasn't privy to. There's going to be some resentment there. There's going to be some bitterness there. Probably more so on De La Hoya's side because he missed out in that situation more than Canelo did. And Canelo has gone on to do great things, make a load of money, be in big fights, while De La Hoya and Golden Boy have really been scratching around. Let's be real. They've been playing second fiddle to Matchroom on the DAZN platform. And so you think about Canelo fighting Jaime Munguia, not to mention the fact that Canelo in the past has said that he won't fight a fellow Mexican. He'd have to contradict that and he'd be bombarded with questions about that. Obviously, people would be saying, hang on, why not fight David Benavidez then? It's a mandatory fight, which means that if the 2 sides can't come to a deal, it can go to a purse bid. And whichever network, whichever promotional company bids the most, gets to show the fight on their platform. Simple. But Jaime Munguia is Oscar De La Hoya's, if you want to call him a cash cow. That's the guy he's been trying to build up to replace the massive void that Canelo left in his company. Would De La Hoya really want to give Canelo Alvarez the satisfaction of beating his new cash cow? That's what I'm asking myself. That's what I'm wondering about. Most of us, I have to imagine, think that Canelo Alvarez would beat Munguia and do it pretty comfortably. I'm not saying he would knock Munguia out necessarily, but if he won on points, I would expect it to be a pretty clear victory. Okay, Munguia got rid of John Ryder. Canelo took him the distance. Styles make fights. Munguia is more high volume than Canelo Alvarez. In my mind, when I match up Canelo's style with Jaime Munguia's style, I see Canelo winning all day long. I think it's a more competitive fight than Canelo against Berlanga, for sure. I give Munguia a much better chance than Berlanga, but I still see Canelo winning that one pretty comfortable. And then where does that leave Oscar De La Hoya? The guy who he's so bitter about for leaving him, coming along and taking down his replacement, his new cash cow. I know it's all about money, but his motives might not be quite so straightforward as, let's say, an Eddie Hearn. Because Eddie Hearn's willing to put Berlanga in with Canelo. I'm sure Eddie Hearn thinks that Berlanga would get smashed to bits. But Eddie Hearn wants the paycheck, right? Whereas with De La Hoya and Munguia, I don't know whether De La Hoya's in such a rush to cash Munguia out, especially against Canelo Alvarez, a guy he's got beef with, a guy who he's still very bitter about. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
And before I go, I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers to my Patreon page. I cover loads of different topics in my weekly podcast, as you can see on screen right now, from current events to deep dives down the rabbit hole and everything in between. I'm really enjoying the feedback and the discussions we've been having on there lately. So if you'd like to join the conversation, just click the link in the description box below.
Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.